My name is Lance, and how should I put it? Sigh, I'm friggin' wasted. While I checked my study books for the next week's tests, the invigorating scent of freshly made coffee steamed from my mug, soothing my still sore body. Damn, I feel like I've been run over by a truck. Being the manager of this dorm has many implications, like getting up earlier than the rest in order to clean, cook, fix any broken appliances, and a bunch of other tasks. Add to the equation the fact that I also have to keep up with my studies, and to top it off, Flutter's unexpected visit last night, and you have the perfect recipe for a tired body. Truth be told, it's still kinda difficult for me to fully accept that what happened last night was real and not just a mere delusion. But whenever I recall Flutter's lewd expression back then, damn, keep it together, brain. The girls could be coming down any minute now. Don't make things worse. Gotta keep a straight face as this dorm's manager. Huh? All jokes aside, though, there's still one particular issue that's been worrying me. Hmm? What Dashi said back then still bugged me a bit. Heat cycles, huh? This could be troublesome. If I recall correctly, I think I might have glanced at the topic briefly for my studies. According to this book, many female anthros go through astrosis cycles, heat, similar to those found in their animal counterparts. That alone wouldn't be too big of a deal, but since the anthropomorphic population is composed of more or less 90% of females, when one of them engages in successful intercourse with a male while in heat, there's a chance for the nearby ones to be affected as well, if you will. It's a phenomenon known between anthros as the exocrinial scarcity principle, ESP, and it's meant to be compassionate for the unbalanced ratio between genders by alerting nearby females through a hormonal chain reaction about the presence of a sexually active male. Although in my situation it'd be more like a Black Friday Lance extravaganza of sorts. And it's first come, first serve, no pun intended. I don't know if I should feel lucky or endangered, like a wild hare in an open hunting season. I guess I'd better tread lightly for a while. And just as I started to ponder how would I approach the situation, Flutters came down the stairs and into the main hall, wrapped up in her own mumbling. Maybe this would be a good opportunity to smooth things between us, now that there's nobody else here. Ah, Flutters, good timing. I was just thinking of Boo. However, as I raised my hand to greet her, she walked right by my side, completely oblivious of my presence. You don't say. As I expected, it seems like last night's event was weighing heavily on her mind. Not that I can blame her, though. I myself am still trying to get my head around it, so it only figures that someone as modest as Flutters would be having such a hard time coming to terms with reality. Anyways, for the moment, I should at least try to put her mind at ease. Flutters, don't worry. I know that. I stood up and tried to get closer to her, but she walked right by my side without even batting an eye in my direction. Hey now. Please don't. That'd be like trying to put out a fire with kerosene. I can think of many reasons not to, but I'm just glad to know that your preservation instincts are still alive and kicking. There's no point. She's way too immersed into her own world as to even notice me. What would that blue-skinned lecherous sex fiend do in my place? Wow. My whole body twitched like hell at the unexpected feeling of something oddly wet and warm running over my earlobe. You call that French ear raping a morning kiss? Satisfied with her little act of revenge, the fearsome one known by us mere mortals as Dashy looked in Flutter's direction. Look, if you have time to indulge yourself in your fantasies, would you mind giving me a hand here instead? What a whore. Ignoring her flirtatious teasing, I looked back at Flutters, who continued to mull over what to do next. What sort of twisted advice did you give her? Arg. For as much as it pains me, I can't deny that, you horny little blue devil. As Flutters spaced out, Dashy merrily walked to her side, a mischievous smile drawn on her face. I don't trust this one bit. Hey, don't say such dangerous jokes with such a straight face. With a straight face. Okay, I'm sorry, I had lines there. Come on. Next. Wait, that's not the issue here. Without giving her any time to react, Dashy sneaked behind Flutter's back and reached for her breasts, squishing and fondling them mercilessly. Like hell it should, you rainbow-haired succubus. It's your methods that worry me, though. Could you put your libido on hold for 5 minutes? Shut up. Shaking off such dangerous thoughts, I turned to talk to Flutters. Anyways, good morning, Flutters. Both our eyes darted through the whole room, avoiding each other's gaze. After what happened between us last night, I sort of expected such an awkward atmosphere, but still. Give me something back. I'm not sure I follow. With her face burning bright red, Flutter stepped toward and handed me a small flask. What's this? Wait, wasn't this part of my medical stash? Since I'm a student of anthropomorphic medicine at Veridia's University, I'm pretty much obliged to carry stuff like this around for pharmacology classes and the like. Relax, I don't mind it, but why would you? Oh, I think I get it now. Anthropine blockers are a fairly common medicine prescribed for female anthros. They're simply hormonal regulators, but they're very effective countering the side effects of ESP, among other ailments. I see, so Flutters was already aware of the possible complications of last night's encounter. Well, she's studying to become a veterinarian, so I guess it makes sense she'd at least know this much. But still, that was a clever call on her part. There's something I don't understand, though. Why use my medical stash? Don't get me wrong, I don't mind it, but wasn't there a brand new flask in the bathroom's cabinet? Flutter's words finally came to a halt as she looked down at her feet in embarrassment. It's okay. Flutters, don't worry. I get your point. You don't need to apologize. I wonder what happened to the other flask, though. I can hear you, you know. Well, that pretty much solves the mystery. So there might still be some mild side effects, right? I'm still here, Dashi. Don't go Shakespearean on my ass, you little lust vortex. Oh well, whatever. We'll have to deal with it as it comes. And by we, I mean I, of course. As I began to wonder about this, though, the floor suddenly began to quaver. What the hell? An earthquake? I turned back because I heard someone calling out my name, but it was too late. Ugh. With the strength of a wild bull, something knocked me flat on my ass. What the hell happened? I tried to speak, but something frighteningly soft and perky was pressing itself against my face. The eerily sweet fragrance that tickled my nose was making my face grow suspiciously hot. Wait, wait a second. Oh God, they're around. And there's two of them. What are the odds of these just being two genetically engineered giant peaches, thus allowing me to save some face? I guess they're pretty slim. At last, I was released from the clutch, whose details I prefer not to speculate about, and the two newcomers finally revealed themselves. The one at my side was Sparks, the eldest of the residents in this dorm, and second-year pupil of both the literature and informatics careers. Fitting her intellectual appearance, her demeanor always exudes an aura of maturity and proud sense of responsibility, traits that earned her the implicit role of older sister of the group. She can sometimes come out as a bit cold or strict, but I believe that's just a front she puts up as to dissimulate her really caring and sensitive nature. I'd better not say that out loud though, or else I won't hear the end of it. Ah, yeah. Thanks, Sparks. Taking Sparks' extended hand, I managed to get back up on my feet. And the half-naked typhoon of hyperactivity at her side was Pinky, a first-year student in the gastronomy career and a natural-born airhead. Despite her inexpugnable denseness, however, her cheerful and proactive attitude somehow manages to balance out her other shortcomings. That is, when she's not raiding the fridge, running around naked, or jumping over me for no concrete reason. I like to think of her as a cute little puppy. A cute little puppy with an outrageous set of knockers and a caffeine overdose. Yeah, something about that doesn't sound quite right to me either. Don't worry, Sparks. She took me by surprise, but she didn't really hurt me or anything. Gah. Knowing that Dashi and I were on the same page sort of gave me the chills for some odd reason. I think you're taking the concept of some a bit too literally, Pinky. As Pinky and Sparks were going at it, the doorbell at the entrance rang. With a sonorous sigh, Sparks walked away towards the front door. Hang in there, Sparks. We all share your pain. As soon as Sparks went to check the door, Pinky jumped towards me in a rather suspicious, bubbly mood. I have a bad feeling about this. What? What the hell are you talking? What the hell you're talking about, Pinky? Taken by surprise with such an upfront question, I couldn't help but begin to stutter. So much for keeping my cool. This is bad. But hey, wait a minute. As far as I know, the only one aware of what happened last night besides Flutters and myself was the succubus whore. I threw questioning daggers with my gaze in her direction, but she just answered me with a nonchalant shrug. So it wasn't her. Now I'm confused. If she didn't spill the beans, then how in the heavens? I have no idea what you're talking about, Pinky. It's okay, Lance. You can do this. Just feign ignorance and the topic will eventually die out. It's not like she has any strong reason to suspect us in the first place. Okay, screw whatever I said. We're fucked. Hey now, some walls are meant to remain unbroken, you know. You're gonna make the kids at home cry, Pinky. And Flutters too, for that matter. Okay, let's not get carried away, Pinky. I know it looks bad, but seeing no way out of this predicament, I braced myself for the upcoming impact, but there was a certain factor none of us took into account. Beg your pardon. And said factor was Pinky's unfathomable ability to miss the point by a mile. Putting up a motherly smile, Dashy tenderly curled up next to her. Or curled. Oh God, they multiply. Hey now, why don't we just leave things at that, Dashy? Dashy's blunt riddle unsurprisingly forced Pinky's mental gears to work overtime. Thank God you can't get brain cramps, Pinky. Okay, I'm doomed. Goodbye, social life. It was nice having you while it lasted. A perfect fencing dummy. No, I'm pretty sure you're the odd one here, Pinky. Whew. Well, that's one crisis avoided thanks to Pinky's mystifying powers of deduction, or lack thereof. By the way, what's taking Sparks so long? Ugh. As soon as I heard that characteristic accent, I knew that what followed was going to hurt. But you're never ready enough for such a leaden pat in the back, no matter how many times you've experienced it. Jackie, could you hand me back my lungs, please? I think I just spat them out. Can you look any more like a whore? Your smile and your brutal strength don't match, Jackie. Do something about that, please. It creeps the hell out of me. The cheerful all smiles gal's name is Jackie, a second-year student of agriculture and botany who technically lives at the campus. I say technically because even if she actually lives there, most of the time she just hangs around at this dorm, to the point of having her own separate room in it here and everything. She's actually pretty kind and easy to warm up to, but Her rustic personality and almost alien strength sometimes brings the concept of tough love to a whole new level, as evidenced by my still shaking knees. I am not green. I'm sorry, Jackie, but going down your road could be potentially lethal. Huh? What do you mean? She's right. Huh? What are you, a ninja? Hmm. What's this all about, Jackie? Hmm. Well, that certainly sounds like a reasonable choice if you take Dashi's supportive skills into account. As a newcomer, I was sort of shocked when I found out that this carefree, laid-back pervert was actually revered as a legend by the sport rings at the university. No matter what sport it is, she can master it on a single try. It's kind of surreal. However, even if that's true, there's something that doesn't add up. Let me see if I got this right, Jackie. You're trying to tell me that this, Dashi, we all know, actually made a compromise to get involved with something? Wipe that smug grin off your face. I wasn't complimenting you. You shouldn't be proud of being compared with a donkey. Although I must admit that, knowing her, I kind of expected some sort of shady deal to be involved. Well, I think I get how things went down, more or less. So what was the price? Ah, I see. Well, that sounds about right. Wait a fuck. Why, you little. Wait, why do I sound so surprised? Think about it for a second. It's Dashi we're talking about here. Stuff like this is her daily bread and butter, much to my everlasting misfortune. On your knees, I want you to beg for forgiveness. You can take her away now, Jackie. Long live the racing team club. What? You mean those two? They'll be fine. Don't worry. It's the racing team members that I'm worried about. Hmm? Ah, yeah. Better get moving or you'll miss the attendance call. Here, give me a second. I went behind the kitchenette, bar and grabbed a couple plastic boxes I had stored earlier. There you go. This one's for you, Flutters. Inside them were different sorts of dishes arranged in small portions. It's nothing overly fancy, but it's the least I can do for them after letting me stay as their manager. Well, I know I usually prepare lunch for you guys, but I figured that this would be more practical today with all your early lectures and such. I still kept your tastes in mind, so there shouldn't be a problem there. I took another box and handed it to Sparks as well. Don't mention it. Just hand those to theirs, and when you see them, and we'll call it even. Sparks' tough act is cute in its own right at times like this. And apparently Flutter has finally calmed down a bit and returned to her honest self, which is always nice. And finally, here's yours, Pink. What a bitch. Here, put these clothes on her when you get the chance. I waved Sparks and Flutters goodbye, and as soon as they closed the door behind them, the whole dorm finally fell in complete silence. Well, this sure was quite the active morning. Okay, whatever. Truth be told, practically every morning since I became this dorm's manager was more or less as hectic as this one. Of course, hormonal mishaps aside, but still, I somehow got used to having such boisterous mornings already, so when everything goes quiet like this, it feels strangely lonely. Come on, no point in getting depressed over nothing. I've got work to do. Psyching myself up, I slapped my face and took my dorms to do list out of my pocket. Now that such a rare occasion has presented itself, it'd be a good chance to catch up with my duties as the manager for once. Let's see, cleaning the bathtub, fix the sink, sort out the boxes in the basement, check the attic for roof leaks. Man, I only had a couple days off to study, and this is what ends up happening. Oh well, whatever. Better get down to it before I regret it. Alright, let's do this. And this should go here, I suppose. Having a deep sigh, I finally put down the massive box I was carrying all the way from the basement. This actually took way longer than I expected. As I wiped the sweat off my forehead, I looked out the window into the late afternoon sky. Signaling the end of the day, the fervent sunset let its warm, dim light pour inside the room, evocating a peaceful sense of serenity that soothed my tired self a bit. It's really amazing how much work piles up in a couple days in a house with so many people. Even more unexpected, however, was how distorted my mental image of how tidy or not a home full of women is from reality. Well, I guess some of them might have been more of a handful than others. I mean, potato chips bags inside of the bathroom's cabinet. Pinky? Really? And Dashi, well, I'd say she should take better care of where she puts her underwear, but when you pick up a black string thong inside a folded letter that reads, and I quote, "Remember me with this while I'm gone. I will never become a memory." I don't know, but I'm willing to assume that there's some degree of intentionality there. What am I going to do with her? I put her present back in her room, by the way. I'm not that desperate. But in all honesty, I've got to admit that she's really attractive, and her outgoing attitude only makes it all the more difficult for a healthy guy like me to ignore. Waking up every day to have her rubbing herself against me with her firm, voluptuous body. Having to put up with her seductive taunting for hours on end. It's nothing short of torture. Psychological warfare. Now why don't I just go with it? That's something I'm still unsure about. I guess it's just that I don't want to give her the satisfaction of knowing that she's pushing the right buttons. God knows that the last thing I need right now is to feed her ego even further. My heart skipped a beat at the unexpected yet overly familiar sultry voice that reached my ears. Creaking like rusty hinge, my head slowly turned to face the one person I dreaded to see there the most. What? When? How? Watching my pale face struck with confusion, Dashi couldn't help but snicker in my amusement. How long have you been standing there? I slightly pressed my temple as to regain some composure. Weren't you supposed to be coaching the track racing team today? What do you mean, what about it? Why are you here then? Locking the door behind her, Dashi slowly approached me, the expression of a predator who just decided to play with her next meal drawn on her face. Okay. Throwing both her jeans and jacket to the floor, Dashi slowly closed in on me, her big heavy breast pinning me down against the washing machine. Hey, wait, what are you? I attempted to protest, but she softly pushed my lips shut with her index finger, making my words die in my throat. Putting up a bewitching smile, Dashi took my tense hand and slowly placed it against her breast. The mind-numbing feeling of softness from her full, sensuous bust, along with the heat that seeped from her body, made my hand feel like it could melt in any second. Small sweat beads could be seen running through the contours of her pushed-up cleavage, giving the erotic illusion of a dam about to burst under sheer pressure. Taking my last free hand, she gently placed it against her well-defined hips, making me slowly trace her silk-like, perfect skin, to finally let me grab her round, firm ass. Whoa, With every breath I took, a very subtle but distinctly sweet fragrance quietly began to dull my reasoning, making my head spin. With a glint of mischievousness burning in her eyes, Dashi slowly brought her face to mine to the point I was able to feel her hot breath as she spoke. This has gone way too far for Sephiroth. Whoops.